Smile, Laurel, even when it costs you something, especially then. Her mother had said that years ago, standing at their small kitchen sink, washing dishes with cracked hands and a steady grace that Laurel Beckett had never forgotten. She was 25 now, and some mornings, tying her apron in the back corner of Birchwood Diner, she repeated those words to herself like a quiet prayer. The diner sat on the edge of Clover Street, the kind of place with vinyl booths, coffee that was never quite hot enough, and regulars who ordered the same thing every Tuesday. Laurel had worked here for 3 years. She wasn't here because she loved it. She was here because her mother's medical bills didn't care what she loved. The man walked in on a gray Thursday morning. He was dressed in a charcoal coat that cost more than Laurel's monthly rent, and he moved through the diner the way people do when they're used to better rooms. He sat at table 7 without waiting to be seated, set his phone face down on the table, and stared out the window at nothing. His name was Conrad Hale, 49 years old, founder of a commercial real estate firm that bore his name on 3 city buildings. He had arrived in this neighborhood for a site visit that was canceled last minute, and he had walked into Birchwood Diner simply because it was the first door he saw, and he hadn't eaten since yesterday. Laurel approached with her notepad. "Good morning," she said warmly. "Can I start you off with some coffee?" He didn't look up. "Just water. And make sure the glass is clean this time." She paused, just a breath, then nodded. Of course. She brought him water, then coffee anyway, because she noticed his hands wrapped around the empty cup without him realizing it. He didn't thank her. When his eggs arrived, slightly overdone, he pushed the plate 2 inches forward without a word. She took it back, had it remade, and returned with a quiet, "Here you go, sir," and a small dish of the hot sauce. She'd noticed him eyeing on another table. He said nothing. What Laurel didn't know was that Conrad Hale had buried his daughter 8 months ago, Serena, 24 years old. Gone in the quiet, devastating way that life sometimes takes people. A condition that had gone undetected too long, a series of what-ifs that followed him into every waking hour. She had been bright and warm and impossibly kind to strangers. She used to bring coffee to delivery drivers who came to their door. She smiled at people who didn't deserve it, and meant it every time. Conrad had not smiled since the funeral. He was watching Laurel refill the coffee of an elderly man 2 tables over, doing it without being asked, saying something that made the old man laugh softly, when something inside him went very still. Serena had done exactly that. Exactly that. He looked at Laurel more carefully, not her face, though there was something in the gentleness of it, but the way she moved, unhurried, purposeful, kind in the invisible way that doesn't announce itself. When she came to clear his plate, he spoke abruptly. "How long have you worked here?" She looked up, a little surprised. 3 years. You enjoy it?" A pause, an honest one. "I enjoy the people," she said. "Most of them." Something moved across his face. "Even the ones who aren't kind to you?" She considered him for a moment with steady, warm eyes. "Those are usually the ones who need kindness the most," she said simply. Then she picked up his plate and moved on. He sat with that sentence for a long time. When he finally stood to leave, Laurel was behind the counter entering an order. She didn't see him take out his wallet. She didn't see him stand there for a moment, still, before pulling out a folded piece of paper from his coat pocket, a receipt from somewhere else, and writing on the back of it in slow, deliberate handwriting. He left the note beneath a folded stack of bills and walked out without looking back. It was Laurel's co-worker, Danny, who saw it first. Laurel. Her voice was strange. "Come here." The bills were hundreds. Laurel counted them twice, hands trembling, before she found the note beneath. It read, "You served me with kindness I did not earn and did not deserve. You reminded me of my daughter, who believed, truly believed, that people were worth the effort." She was right. "You are proof. Please use this. She would have wanted someone like you to have it." Laurel stood at the counter for a long moment, the note in both hands, the diner moving softly around her. She didn't cry right away. She just pressed the paper gently to her chest and looked out through the diner window at the gray street where a charcoal coat had disappeared into the crowd. She thought about her mother's hands at the kitchen sink. She thought about every morning she had almost called in, almost let the weight of everything pull her under. She thought about Table 7 and a man who hadn't looked at her once, until he did. 3 weeks later, a letter arrived at Birchwood Diner addressed to her by name. Inside was a short note from Conrad Hale's assistant, explaining that Mr. Hale had established a small annual scholarship in his daughter Serena's name, and that Laurel Beckett had been selected as its first recipient for a nursing program she had quietly applied to 6 months ago and told no one about. She read the letter standing in the back hallway, apron still on, coffee tray in one hand. She had never told the man in the charcoal coat that she wanted to be a nurse. She had never told him about the application, or her mother, or the years of early mornings and aching feet, and choosing a smile when nothing inside her felt like smiling. He had simply watched her be kind, and that had been enough. The morning Laurel walked into her first nursing class, she thought of a gray Thursday, and a man who had been rude, and a note written on the back of a receipt. She thought of her mother's words, and she smiled, not because it was easy, but because it was worth it. Kindness given freely, even to those who seem not to deserve it, has a way of reaching people in places words never could. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Let's spread more stories of kindness and hope together.